Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. I'm Teacup.
And I'm She-Cup. And we are so excited to bring you this podcast dedicated to unraveling all the mysteries woven in to the Assassin's Creed universe.
Each episode will be diving into a different lore discussion, from Pieces of Eden, solar flares, and the Isu to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus. We will seek to uncover it all.
So step into the Animus, join us in the shadows, and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You also know me as She-Cup, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Austin.
Wait, no, I'm Austin.
No, you ain't.
Yes, I am.
I don't think so.
We've done this before, and we established that I was born first.
It is true. You were born first. You also have a newborn. You are further along in several ways beyond me. However, I will still take you out to the street if you wish.
I will concede this, though, before we get started. Yes, I am Austin, also known as Teacup, and we are here with a special guest with us. We are joined with some lovely people from the library. Is that the official name of the show? Just the
it sure
library?
is. It's the Library Halo Lorecast. It's our premier Halo lore podcast.
Yeah. So while y'all introduce yourselves, and then we'll do. I got a question for you.
Sure. Yeah. I'll start off. I'm him. He's me. I'm him. He's me. I'm Austin.
I am him.
Yes.
I am you, and you are me, and we are.
We are family. Yes. So
I'm the walrus.
I'm a lot of things. I think a good way to summarize me, I'm the creative director for Jumperscape, a small media team that works on making things like podcasts, the library being our number one. And we like to talk a lot about Halo. Halo is really good. And any of you who haven't tried it should go try it, because Campaign Evolved is fire, and don't let the internet tell you otherwise. And we do a lot of things in regards to either working with the community and making fun things happen. Like we have this community calendar made by 16 artists that have come together and made a calendar for 2027 that is fantastic. And sometimes even official work, like we have applied ourselves to a canon project with Halo Studios to produce a fun audio drama series that should be coming out very soon. So we do a whole lot of stuff here, and I'm the head of all of it. So it's a absolute honor and blessing that I get to do all that.
I'm married to him.
Yes, she is. Put her there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
think-
Cheyenne. Like I said, I'm married to this one. So I
Awesome, by the way.
am more in the background for most of those projects. I do also, I guess, co-host one of the Chatternet. What do you even call those shows?
They're segments.
Segments,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Chatternet Daily Halo Radio.
One of the segments on our daily Halo thing. Yeah, I'm just around.
She applies herself to a lot of things that we.
Yeah.
She fills in the gaps and is very helpful.
I also make sure he takes breaks.
She fails at that a lot.
I do.
Well, yes, as you know, this just to remind me, I guess, we do have the Cup Podcasting Network. I guess Shelby is CEO and I'm her assistant. Sick.
I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't call you the assistant. I would have to think of a creative title for you.
CEO and COO.
No.
He can't do
CBSO, Chief Bullshit Officer.
Okay,
We can just like invent things in the C-suite, right? Like that's how corporate America works, right?
Usually, you can just create an entirely new title. Yeah. So you could be I don't know. Do you make a whole lot of coffee in the house?
No, but like
You do make a lot of tacos.
Okay, so you could be lead taco coordinator, and then there you have it. You have a step down right below the CEO that makes it so you're still up in the upper echelons. You know,
Could be like lead culinary expert or something.
and that just makes too much sense.
I
The taco
could
coordinator
be
thing really makes people think.
Chief Culinary Officer or executive. That might be good.
And it's plus a CCO still,
Mhm.
so that's still
Yeah,
sounds
people just
official.
don't realize
This is really good.
Yeah. See, this is the spitballing that needs to happen more often.
Yes.
Yes. But this also marks a first moment in the Cups podcasting history. This is the first time we've had another married couple as guests.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's so exciting. Almost.
Podcasters that actually like have their spouses on their shows at every now and then, like that's few and far between, it seems.
Podcasters that are married, I think, might be few and far between.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, that's
There's a stereotype here.
But it is fun. It is fun.
Definitely a stereotype.
Because you get to basically you're already spitballing with your significant other for most of your life anyway. So why not record
A
it?
fun idea.
Like, put it
then
in-
talk about it.
Yeah. So why not just turn that into content?
Exactly.
Yeah, there are many times that I'll be telling Shelby about an upcoming episode and she'll have to be like, stop. Save it for
Save
the
it.
episode.
Yes.
It's the way that it goes. It's the way that it is. There's always something around the corner, and you can't waste that good quality content on the morning commute. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we both work from home now, so we unfortunately.
That's
are
a
doing
long
this-
walk from the bedroom to the kitchen.
I know.
Hey, our offices are on other ends of the house. It's like
That's true.
30 feet from each other.
I know.
That's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
It's far enough that we have to scream what at each other if we're trying to talk to
What
each
is
other across the
marriage?
house.
What is marriage if you're not yelling what across the house at each other for all eternity?
It's the way that it goes. It's the way that it goes. It's how it was meant to be.
But back to Assassin's Creed.
True.
This is a question that we ask anyone who comes on this show, which is what was your involvement? What's your experience with Assassin's Creed? What got you started with it? If you at all have any experience with that.
So, what?
Nothing.
So, fun fact about me, even including my Halo interest, I was not allowed to play violent video games until I was 13. I was playing consistently Lego Star Wars, Crash Bandicoot, Banjo-Kazooie, and other such related content pieces.
Okay, but
And-
all those games slap. though.
They're great. They're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's definitely something to be said about the games that are made for children that are just forever fantastic. But that being said, the first violent video game that I was ever allowed to play was Assassin's Creed 3. I was over at a friend's house, one of our buddies who is here on the library, usually with us. I was over at his house, and Assassin's Creed 3 had just come out, and me as a kid, like, I was all about history. I was a massive history buff. I watched Dogfights, Combat Zone on History Channel. I was a big fan of it. So seeing the American Revolution being told through this perspective of the assassins was really interesting. And up until that point, I didn't know what the Assassin's Creed actually was, like what the creed was, who the assassins were. I saw the cover art on the Xbox Arcade online on the actual console, and I was like, well, that looks edgy. I'm not interested in that. I'm a child, you know.
I can't do violence.
I can't do violence. And then I saw my brother play Assassin's Creed 2 for a brief moment. I wasn't even allowed to watch people play violent video games. And I saw it at a passing glance. This dude hit a double assassination on 2 guards, and there was a little spark that went off in my head that I'm like, I'm going to remember that forever. So Assassin's Creed 3, huh?
And you do. You remember it now.
Yes, exactly. See what I'm saying? So Assassin's Creed 3 drops. And he got past the Hatham part, thankfully, so I was already seeing the wonder and glory of playing Connor. And I remember texting my mom and being like, hey, I know how this goes, but I really want to try this game. You're taking out the bad guys. That's the whole point of it. So, like, if it's bad guys, is that okay? And she conceded. She's very chill. She just didn't want to expose me to things that I shouldn't be exposed to. And what my friends tell me is what they found the next morning was me, because like the TV's on the floor. This is like classic childhood setup where what even is a desk? What is a stand? You have a bed, you have a TV on the floor with the console next to it, probably overheating from the carpet that is laying on. So I'm laying on the floor, face down, like on the carpet, hands still on the controller. On the screen, Assassin's Creed 3 is still running, and there's dozens of dead bodies all around me. I got very excited about this game. And
played it all night.
I played it all night. And when I got home, I got my own copy of it, and I just blitzed through the entire storyline, skipped the ship stuff because I wasn't interested whatsoever at that point, and just went through the entire thing, utterly fascinated by, like, how much of it is expanding beyond just, okay, so I get to do cool things. There are bad guys. Wait, what do you mean the bad guys are also the good guys, but also the bad guys, but also the good guys are also the bad guys? This is hurting my small child, teenage, preteen brain. So I got utterly fascinated from that point forward. And for a bit there, I can say with confidence, Assassin's Creed was more interesting to me than Halo for just a little bit. And then I turned 18 and it kind of 180. But that was my start with the franchise.
Yeah, for me, the story is very similar to my experience with Halo in that growing up, I myself didn't play a ton of video games unless it was like cute animal stuff. So like Dolphins with a Z. And like that one
Nintendogs.
Yeah, Nintendogs, Purpals, also with a Z. My poor mom had to listen to Singing Cats from the mini game for that, like on really long car rides all the time. But anyway, my dad actually would play video games a lot, and I would sit and watch while I like crocheted or like drawed, that's not the right word, drew, or just like did whatever small child me wanted to do. And so like a lot of my exposure to, I guess, more quote unquote violent video games would be from that, because he would like play Skyrim for the most part, but then also I think Assassin's Creed was in the mix at some point. Don't know which one.
He played 3.
Okay. He played a little bit of Halo 5 at one point.
Rough.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I don't like this. This isn't this like the other game.
Looks at Assassin's Creed, plays Peak. Looks at Halo, decides to pick the first one.
I think he
Whatever.
played other Halo games and was just curious what the next installment was like. I don't know.
He made a mistake.
And then jump forward to being in college with this one, and we would get into super long conversations about video game lore, because he would just start info dumping about stuff at like 10 o'clock at night.
This was counterbalanced by conversations started by her about books and anime, by the way.
Yeah, like I also would info dump. Like we would just take turns info dumping.
Stories are fascinating. We can just
yeah.
kind of flatline say that.
And so some of that was Halo and like talking about the flood and the different soundtracks and all of this stuff. People joke like, oh, that's how he knew he was going to marry you, is like you put up with talking about that for 4 hours. And Assassin's Creed was one of the things that we would talk about sometimes, because it's one of his favorite franchises along with Halo, like Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed, and Halo. And like he plays through the Assassin's Creed games on a regular basis. Like it's a whole thing. And so every time he plays through, he's like, okay, I know I've talked a lot about it, but can I tell you another thing? It's like, sure, that's fine. And then as far as like what I've actually played, when we were dating, or like we had just actually started dating the day before, because I came to visit and meet his family, because he wanted me to meet his mom before we have like officially were dating. And we were in the living room, and he was showing me the pirate one. It's Black Flag.
Yep.
Yeah. And so he was showing me the pirate one, and he's like, here, do you want to try? And I was like, sure, I'm not going to be good at it. And then promptly died on my like first attempt of assassinating someone. And he's like, do you need me to step in? And I'm like, sure. And then he like whipped out all of the like special ninja moves. And then I got to continue on with the plot. But that was only for like an hour.
There are moments. Those games are not easy. Like they have made them a lot easier in the modern day, but the original games, no shame. And I still play them to this day, having played them a million times, and like are like, dang it, I got detected again.
Yeah. It's tough. And I do vividly remember though, after the Black Flag thing, I was like, oh, you would find the intrigue of Unity's story very interesting.
Yeah, I think I might have been playing Unity, and that's when you stepped in.
Yeah, because I think I walked in and you were playing it because you were on my Xbox.
Yeah.
Unity is the hardest like combat of the series, in my opinion.
You know what? I'm going to say that. I already said this on the library. I'm going to say it for your audience because I want to see if something happens. Assassin's Creed Unity is the best Assassin's Creed in the franchise.
Okay, that I was with you on the library, but when you're taking it that far, that just is.
Sorry, my man. It's just the truth.
No, it is not.
Oh, yes.
It's not even a contest. Like, no, the worst Assassin's Creed objectively is Valhalla.
Yes.
Even though it's the best selling and top grossing Assassin's Creed game.
Nauseum on
But it came out during COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I can't even with this right now.
We have to pause for a second. This is such a memorable moment because it is so rare that Teacup over here is rendered speechless. So props.
You're welcome to everyone at home. And for those of you who are brave enough to speak the truth like I am, keep living, my friends, keep living.
Listen. I love Arno and Elise, and I like that story. Unity introduces a lot of mechanics that are interesting to the game. But as a story and as a entry into the Chronicle, it ranks mid-tier.
And that's okay to say.
I also hate France, so there's that.
Yeah, I think
people dog on French people in our server, and we have French people in there. Today, someone was dogged on me because
it's the British ancestry of the Americas. It's gotta be
because the new Cortana is named officially. Her name is pronounced as Joyeuse, but that is a French word, and it's more like Joyeuse or something like that. And I got dogged on in the general chat in our server by a French person who was like, "You butchered this," and then apologized because they realized that everyone is saying it wrong. And
that I think is a big part of why people, at least linguistically, from a linguistic standpoint, I've always been told that like French is a super hard language to learn because people in France, especially like from Paris, will be like, "You're not saying anything correctly. How dare you?" Even if like it's not that bad. And then like you go to Canada and like you're in like the Quebec area and it's just like all over the place and like doing its own thing.
Which is why they basically just gave everyone an Assassin's Creed Unity British accents. So
from like
Yeah, that's my other beef with that game. It's like a big thing in video games. Like, oh, we're in France, British accents.
But,
like,
like,
look at Expedition 33 too.
At least they were speaking French.
But like, okay, with Assassin's Creed, we can't really talk too much crap about that because they did it in the original Assassin's Creed when they didn't make Altair have any kind of Arabic accent.
That was the one thing that really threw me off when I first played that as of recent. When I was playing that, I'm like, oh, he sounds like he's from like Detroit.
I love that.
Here, shameless plug for anybody who's listening who doesn't know this. We did get to interview the voice of Altair, Philip Shabazz, who talked a lot about that decision, why it was made. A lot of it has to do with 9/11. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, definitely go check out that episode.
Yeah, you hear that? Go listen to it right now. You can pause this and come back later.
That's what he said on the library when I plugged that too.
Because I'm a hype man. What do you,
I didn't
if
know.
I have a voice like this, what do you think I'm going to do with it?
That's a fair point. So, kind of like into as we kind of segue to this, if you want a real in-depth conversation, because we're going to kind of survey this, you can go listen to the episode of the library that I guested on, where we're going to talk about kind of like where do Assassin's Creed and Halo cross over. And I think that, as Austin said in this in that episode, we talked about how for a long time you would grow up and people talked about two things. They were playing Halo and they were playing Assassin's Creed.
Yep. It's facts. It's the way that it was. People just, I think there's something special about the innovations that both of those games brought up. You brought up specifically how Ubisoft was already in the midst of revolutionizing stealth gameplay because Splinter Cell exists, which is in my top 5 franchises. And it's fantastic. Deserves another game. I don't know what's taking them so long, but you know, it's taking everyone forever to make a game these days. Unless I guess you're just one guy living in your parents' basement, then I guess you can just make however many games you want and make millions. But you know, whatever. Assassin's Creed and Halo filled in two different voids, I think. I didn't get to bring up my perspective on this on the show, so I'm glad I get to do it now. It filled two different voids. Halo filled this void and need of community. It fulfilled this desire that people had to really get together and form a community around one central thing. And there were, thankfully, not many options back in the late 90s, early 2000s for someone who was just growing up in that time. Because you had like Lord of the Rings, you had Star Wars, you had a select few franchises that weren't really exploding, weren't massively everywhere.
It wasn't cool to be nerdy yet.
Yeah, Tron Legacy wasn't even out yet, so Tron's not even an option. Like, Marvel hadn't exploded yet. They just had Iron Man pop in like mid-2000s, and then you had all the other movies that came after that, and the Avengers finally drops in 2012. It was like that period from 1998 to like 2009 was a fascinating time of discovery for a lot of people who wanted to get into their favorite franchises.
I do have to pause about the DC animated series erasure that is happening right now.
Well, erasure? What do you mean? I
just didn't mention it.
Just that's also iconic. Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, the original, the original 90s X-Men.
We definitely
cartoon.
have. This is the way that it works: is that there's always going to be that one person that is like, you're not bringing up Blinky the Bear. Blinky the Bear was one of my favorites when I was growing up. And the fact you're not bringing him up, 1 star on Spotify, by the way. Thanks.
Listen, Blinky the Bear changed my life.
In my circumstances, it was Jakers. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you, my friend, are awesome. But that's the thing. You had very few options, and because of that, this was also during that time where video games, if they released, 9 times out of 10 were fantastic because you couldn't. There was a bar for entry when it came to quality and releasing a game. Publishers had to be very specific. They couldn't just kind of drop whatever and they made money no matter what. So they had to be so specific about what got pitched and what got made. And because of that, there's this massive disconnect between how many good games there were back then and how many good games there are now as compared to how many bad games there were for both of them. So you have franchises that are starting to prop up like Gears of War and Uncharted and Tomb Raider's making another comeback at this time. And there's like all these really cool franchises that are popping in. And then we have brand new ones popping up. Assassin's Creed, revolutionizing the idea of an open world stealth game, because up until that point, stealth was kind of a hard thing to pull off in open world. This was like a dream project as far as I'm aware, and it was just kind of a shot in the dark. It was like a Prince of Persia thing that had to turn into something else entirely. And they really took a shot in the dark to see if it actually worked, and it did work out for them. And with Halo, it was a different thing where first-person shooters were in this weird rut where no one really liked how they felt. They kind of just worked with what they had. Like GoldenEye was big for that reason, was like it was not uncomfortable to play. And otherwise, if you wanted to play a first-person shooter, you had to have a PC. If you wanted to play Quake or Doom or CS, like you had to have a PC to make it feel fine. And Halo was that moment that people keep on forgetting a whole lot of things that are just like, oh, well, of course, that's normal. Why are we praising it? Dude, twin stick came from Halo. The concept of like open world-esque, open-ended missions with vehicles seamlessly involved in the level design was invented by Halo. The shield mechanic invented by Halo. Like these things that seem so basic nowadays were just massive innovations by these guys that if you look at Bungie's old behind the scenes videos back when they were still working on Halo, the first one, and they didn't know what it was going to turn into, you can see in the background they were working with VR in 1998. Like it's actually insane to me. Bungie was out here cooking with avocado oil. So Assassin's Creed and Halo are both out here bringing massive innovation to their respective genres. And the way that I often look at it is Halo fulfills that community need because Halo had this pull to create content with it thanks to people like Rooster Teeth who made that Red vs. Blue web series. And then you have Assassin's Creed that fills in this desire for a deeper single-player narrative that allows you to explore a whole lot more of what this world entails, because usually if you want something that goes as deep as Assassin's Creed does, you need an RPG. I'm thinking of like Knights of the Old Republic, one of the greatest games ever made in the Star Wars franchise. You have a bunch of stuff you can explore in that game, but the combat ain't exactly interesting.
No, it is not.
No, it is not. When I knew that I was onto something interesting whenever I was having the most fun solving a murder crime as opposed to using the Force as a Jedi. So
I love that quest, and no one ever talks about it. It's the best.
It's so good. Especially when you already know the solution, so you just walk right up and be like, he did it.
Yeah. It also gets into a point of thinking about that like Halo does is that Assassin's Creed and Halo at the same time are pushing the envelope of like what can be done, because like Halo is really not only modernizing like first person shooter, but like what mass multiplayer online first person shooter looks like. So much so that by the time that Assassin's Creed 3 runs around, we now have multiplayer mode in Assassin's Creed. And like, feeding off each other in that moment of like, and Assassin's Creed, not like, okay, how do we do multiplayer? It's like, how do we make multiplayer fit Assassin's Creed?
I miss that PvP mode.
Yeah.
It was
and
good.
So, but I also think that like as Assassin's Creed proves that, I'm going to say this like not as a derogatory term, but like casual gamers will care about an in-depth story game. Halo then pushes more in-depth story, more characterization, more lines as you like. Well, I forget what the number you said on the show that thing between the number of lines that Chief has in the first 3 Halo games versus Halo 4 is almost like 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complete shift. He has more lines of dialogue in Halo 4 than the entirety of all of his appearances in the previous games combined. It's a shift. But that innovation is what's important, because it's like the storytelling that you're getting into there. Both of these teams had a lot of fun. You can already tell. But they also wanted to, if I'm thinking about this in a way that kind of expands upon the teams themselves, because I think that that's one of the most important things, is that the people that were doing this were the important ones. They were the ones that figured out a lot of this stuff, not just technology wise, but how do you make it interesting regardless. When you think about Halo, for example, because I don't know if Assassin's Creed ever really did anything like this, so you'll have to fill in the gaps for me on this one. But Halo had this really, especially Bungie, had this very deep obsession with kind of tying in the real world to what they were developing. So there's a couple different references that pop up. You know about Marathon now. It's a massive game that has been dropping from Bungie now, but it's not the same as it was. Marathon was originally a trilogy that they dropped back in the late 90s that was pretty fun. I've played them. They're fun. They're really interesting. The story is, there's no cutscenes. You have to exclusively learn about the story by reading these terminals that are scattered throughout the levels, and then you kind of piece together what's going on. And it's freaky. It's basically like Doom if it really was a horror game. It's very spooky. And there's a lot of references to Marathon in Halo, like a ton, especially in the first game. Like I think they really were expecting Halo to be a Marathon sequel at first, until they decided to make it an entirely unique thing. But along with that, where they took their storytelling, there were these things before Halo Combat Evolved drop. It was called the Cortana letters. The Cortana letters were weird, freaky. They were these letters, like emails that were being sent out to certain Bungie.net members, basically, where this AI character that was Cortana, but she behaves differently than how she behaves in the games, is kind of just dropping these weird cryptic hints about what the plot is going to be by using poetry and iambic pentameter, which is a thing that Halo loves to use ever since.
That's so interesting.
It's fascinating. So like you immediately start to get more invested, because what both of these franchises do, whether or not Assassin's Creed ever tried something like that, what it does is invite you to think. And not just think, but piece together things for yourself. And the problem that both franchises are kind of experiencing at the moment is the same thing that I think Liam Neeson said about Star Wars. I don't know if you saw this interview moment, but he brought up when he was coming back for Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, that he said that one of the downsides of Star Wars right now is they made the Force disambiguous. They answered what the Force was. They explained what it is front to back. And they've explored it so very much that the mystery of the Force and the mystery of Star Wars as a universe is no longer a mystery. And
what a freaking Qui-Gon thing to say,
right? Like like dude is wild for that. But that being said, that's where things get really sad, really, when it comes to like where Halo and Assassin's Creed are both at, is for the same reason that they were both intriguing, because they were both asking questions. Now, for the same reason, they're answering too many and not creating enough new ones. So they're both kind of in this strange rut, because now Halo has answered like, who created the universe? What is the Flood? Where did they come from? Why are they there? What is the mantle of responsibility? Who are the Forerunners? They've answered everything. And then Assassin's Creed is answering, who are the Isu? And what are the Templars? And who are the Assassins? And how do the Hidden Ones tie into it? And what is the importance of the Kenway family line? And who is Desmond and why does he matter? And instead of it leaving a impact where you have to ask yourself questions after the fact, because I think you brought up Assassin's Creed 3 was really interesting in the fact that it really didn't answer much of anything, but it told you what you needed to know. So then you could start to fill in the gaps for yourself if you felt like it. It just started answering all the questions. So in the same way that they started out revolutionary, now we're starting to see it be they're starting to get bogged down by their own innovation in a way, is the way I put it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that like this is.
Go ahead, Austin. You're good.
I think that like this is the problem that we come in with both of our franchises, which I think one of the like big crossovers in the thing with Assassin's Creed, as you said, and Halo, is that both series began so innovative, doing something that hadn't really been done in video games before, and now both franchises get criticized now for just recycling the same thing over and over again. And I think about like this idea that Assassin's Creed has lost its mystery, and the idea of its mystery, because I think at the core, Assassin's Creed is basically, not to get a little too theological here a little early, but that it's a question of what is the depravity of humankind and what is the ultimate like condemnation of the soul, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Halo and Assassin's Creed both share in that, with Halo taking it more to a astrological gigantism, I think I would put it, because the precursors are these, wild creation level beings that are transcendent, can't die. Death is basically like a change of state to them. It's like falling asleep and waking back up. You can't kill them. You can't understand them. You can't comprehend how they work. They use these things called, this like understanding of the universe called neurophysics, which is basically just taking your ability to think and your ability to imagine and just making it a thing, but not in the same way of like the orcs in 40K. That's a whole different conversation. And with how the precursors go, their mantle of responsibility, if you would like to say what the
Noblesse oblige.
So freaking
I think
cool.
How you say it?
Noblesse oblige. Yes, you brought that up to me. Because at one point, someone at Halo Studios asked me, "What would you call the mantle of responsibility?" And I was like, "I don't have a concise answer for this." So like,
here's a random French phrase I'm familiar with.
The French once again. And noblesse oblige, the idea that if you have power, it is your responsibility to use it to benefit those that are lesser. So mantle of responsibility is the concept, even though we don't have a written version of it, what we know off of the various perspectives that exist of it, because there's plenty of different interpretations from the various characters that have interacted with it. It ultimately boils down to a perspective of, if I have power, I have control. And sometimes that can be benevolent, sometimes that can be punishing. And you see that happen with, like, let's say the librarian, who is this character that protects creatures, protects all of the different species of the galaxy, and is the reason why species continued after the rings fired 100,000 years ago. She believed that the mantle of responsibility meant that they had a responsibility to uplift and uphold as many of the species of the galaxy as possible. And then Master Builder, who is, of course, a builder, his primary goal is to make his machines work, finds out that another species is helping the humans, and at the time they were not very well liked by the Forerunners. So using the mantle of responsibility as an excuse, saying, oh, they're starting to rise up a little bit, he, for lack of a better term, boims them with a prototype Halo. And that species gets wiped out completely, almost. So this concept kind of gets bounced around of what exactly is that punishment, especially when you tie it into what the precursors became. Because what's being claimed right now by the Flood, which everyone knows about the Flood, the freaky creatures that infect everything and they're unstoppable and they have a central hive mind that connects to wider things and they're crazy. The Flood, by this point, has been stated numerous times, especially in the books, that they are a creation of the precursors. They were intentionally created by them using their own remains. Like I said, the changing of the state thing. And then the Flood existing is the test. If any of the species of the galaxy can find a way to defeat them, then they are worthy of the mantle. If they're not, the Flood just wipes out the entire galaxy and the precursors get their results either way. It's a very dark concept of that, but it is supposed to be a judgment thing, which is why they use biblical readings in scripture to tie it into Abrahamic stuff, because you have a lot going on with that where you have to be living in a way that is good to the precursors, or the precursors could just delete you. And so it's a very different concept. They kind of play around with who would be the people that are in the concept of the biblical rating, who is writing those things. They change a lot of that stuff, but the concept is still rooted in that original concept of original sin and depravity of mankind, as you put it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And with that kind of segue here, is there anything anyone would like to say about the kind of where Assassin's Creed and Halo kind of share any in them of each other? But otherwise, I think we can head to our mid break, and as we kind of get in the second half a little more into the philosophical and theological side of these games.
All right, we can go to our mid break.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney Plus.
You look like the one thing in the world that Kiviadis wouldn't take to bed. Can you even see out of that thing?
Mock all you want. When those Malakas and Zakros see this beast charging towards them, they will know fear!
Let's start light. Tell me a joke.
Why must samurai always battle one another? Because there is only one way for a samurai to get ahead. Ahead. I did not say it was a good joke.
Makose! Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
All right, welcome to the middle of the show. This is where we take time to talk about all the things that have to do with the Lorecast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. The first thing that we do every week is thank all of our amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. If you would like to become a patron, you can do so at patreon.com/AC-Lorecast. That's patreon.com/AC-Lorecast. And we are sending out merch this month. So if you want to sign up and get that awesome merch, now is the time to do it. If you can't support us financially, the next best way to support the Assassin's Creed Lorecast is to leave us a rating, a review, a comment on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you listen. If you leave us 5 stars and kind words, we'll read it out on a future episode of the show. And the one I have to read today is from Captain Kidd on Apple, who said, "This is great, 5 stars. If you're reading this, I just want you to know how great I think this podcast is. I love listening to the lore and the interesting what ifs that I have never thought of. I personally like Edward Kenway the most. Thank you for making my day a little bit more interesting, and I hope y'all are doing well. Keep up the good work." Thank you so much for that awesome review, and I hope we didn't hurt your feelings too much with our Edward character deep dive, which we probably will have to revisit now that Resync has come out. But last and certainly not least is that you should join our Discord server. It's called The Cups Podcasting and More. It's the best place on the internet, and we have a great time over there. So if you want to talk about Resynced with somebody or just anything Assassin's Creed, definitely come hang out. You can find the link at the episode description. And with that, I think we can get back into it.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Did you know Sam's Club isn't a store? It's actually a club. With cool finds and like a whole community. It's a club.
Of course, Jason. It's in the name. Sam's Club.
Oh, yeah. Come join us. Sam's Club.
No, you're right. Let's all just screw around while the world falls to pieces.
Hey, this isn't easy, you know.
Right, like we're all on vacation out here? Enough! Look, everyone's under a lot of pressure, but we're the only ones who can stop Abstergo, so we need to keep it together.
She's right. We need to be a hive mind, people.
Anybody up for some reconciliatory yoga? Anyone?
Very funny, guys.
You have my thanks. Keep the sword, Ezio. Do I know you from somewhere? Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario! Uncle Mario? It's been too long, Nipote. Far too long.
Malaka!
So, if you've listened to any of the Cups podcasting shows before, you know that Shelby and I both have graduate degrees in theology and biblical studies, and those kinds of things. And as from what I understand, both you all also have that kind of a little bit of a similar background in that there. And so, obviously, both of our games lie heavily on the biblical narratives as like the foundation of like what they're basically rewriting.
Because they're based.
Because they're based.
Yes. You know the term, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just making sure.
Yes. I'm not that old.
I'm just making sure. But yes.
Yeah, like they use these narratives as a way to kind of tell their stories. And I think one of the reasons they do this is because it is so well known that it's easy to get people to buy in to the narrative when they base it in something that is familiar. But from an Assassin's Creed standpoint, from the very first game, it is asserted that Jesus used a piece of Eden to turn water into wine.
Did you just have that, or was he an assassin?
I hope that I never have an answer to that question.
So the next Assassin's Creed game is actually playing as Jesus.
Assassin's Creed Galilee.
No. It's going to be Assassin's Creed Crucifixion.
Oh my
right. Assassin's Creed Crucifixions. That's Assassin's Creed Resurrections.
We've had Revelations.
That's
We've had
true.
Revelations. We have had so many that fit in that kind of like just wording anyway.
Exactly.
Listen,
although if we're going to get a
I'm gonna
Resurrections,
say this
it's going to be
now.
Desmond coming back.
Fair, yes.
Because I teased this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm assuming that the people who don't care have stopped listening to this segment of the podcast. The book of the Bible is singular.
Gosh.
Revelation. The Assassin's Creed game is plural.
Is this
a common topic?
This is
No,
it's just something he thinks about at night.
Okay.
It's a pet peeve when people say the book of Revelations, because there's only one.
I get so confused about that too.
There's
It's
only
like-
one revelation. The full title is The Revelation of Jesus Christ to John the Apostle.
Let's take this even further. Barnes and Noble, not Barnes and Nobles. Aldi, not Aldi's.
Correct.
S is
I'm
the
someone who
Walmarts.
chronically adds on S to things.
Me
The
too.
Like
Walmarts.
Aldi's
That's my.
and Barnes and Nobles. He hates
But
it.
anyway, I just had to get. I haven't said that on the podcast.
No, that was an important thing you brought up, and I'm glad you mentioned it here because now you've opened our eyes.
Publicly shamed.
Yeah, you deserve it.
No, this is more about society. I don't think anyone ever made that
I
mistake.
will say, I knew this girl one time who had a tattoo. I don't even remember what the verse was, but she had a tattoo from the Book of Revelation, but she had tattooed it Revelations, and I just like never said anything to her. But every time I saw it, I was just like, "Yikes!"
I mean,
there was a dude at Moody.
Oh gosh.
Who had a tattoo in Hebrew
Oh no.
that had the wrong like vowel markings. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is like God's name."
So it's sort of like when people get like a tattoo that's got kanji on it, but it just means like peanut.
Yeah, I don't know if it was God's name or what exactly the word was, but like I took Hebrew and like all of the other Hebrew students were like, "Oh no."
Which is
whenever
like
we saw that guy, because it was like a giant thing, like it took up his entire calf.
It's
and it was
always
just like
that. Like it's always something huge too, not
typo.
hidable.
It's not like, oh, you said it instead of it's. No, it's like that you've now committed what is considered a mortal sin in Judaism.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, back to video games.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things, because like yes, like the Bible is at the roots, partly probably because like most people are going to be familiar with it, but I also find it really interesting how in a way it's the avenue to truth in the stories of both Assassin's Creed and Halo, because like in universe for both stories, this like story of the Bible is like treated as a metaphor for what was actually happening like behind the scenes. So like Genesis and like Eden and everything, or like the flood is just interpreted in a different way. So like all the Christians, it's like, yeah, there was this big disaster and there was this flood and judgment and all this stuff, and it's like, yes, there was a flood and judgment, but not in the way you think. And that's kind of the way that like Eden and stuff I think comes across too in Assassin's Creed. I'm not as familiar with it.
Eden is wild.
Yeah.
Basically, you guys can basically expand upon this if you want to. Eden's like basically a slave colony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like they like escape from it or something. I don't know. You explained it at one point.
So Eden, this is really, really interesting to me, and I have yet to talk about this on the podcast.
I'm so glad to open the door for you.
I just think it's too deep of a lore cut at some point, and like, but
there's no such thing.
Eden is where the Isu make humans. Which is like the parallel, like that is where God creates humanity in
There's
the
a
book
lot
of Genesis.
wild things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
great.
also like it's also where like it's so interesting to me because they basically Assassin's Creed in one way when it introduces this Genesis story is really like takes the question and says, okay, what if the serpent was telling the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
What if Satan was telling the truth in that, like, okay, this apple, even though the Bible never says apple, but apple is now controlling the minds of humans and keeping them bound and not having the power like the Isu, which is exactly what the serpent says is you're not going to die if you eat the apple. You're going to be like God, is what the serpent says.
I do enjoy how these stories essentially just give you I don't think I like to say fan fiction. I think what I would like to say more is like the way that I've often seen it is with these stories being so deeply rooted within a biblical narrative, that gives more reason to go and read the Bible, and it enables people to get curious about how difficult of a challenge it is to write a narrative around one of the greatest narratives and not completely like step on it and not leave things open-ended. So one question I had for you that we couldn't get to on the library was like, you mentioned that Assassin's Creed is starting to kind of step away from, because they're stepping into like mythologies mostly and stepping away from the original association that they decided to expand upon all the way back with Eden and the Genesis narrative. Is Assassin's Creed fully stepping away from being rooted in like ancient biblical writings and now just leaning hard on mythology, or are they still holding to some of it?
I think that what this comes down to is a lot, and like this brings up a point that you brought up earlier about Halo bringing in the context in which it's made, like the real world context of like the historical lived moment in which Halo is developed. And I think Assassin's Creed is doing something similar. Back in 2007, given general like societal understandings of religion and the general like overarching conversation around it, entertaining alternative narratives or a fictional look at this was more socially accepted. Nowadays, I don't know how brave Ubisoft is to do that.
Sure. Although my personal feelings on it, if you're going to have every single one of your games start with this is a work of fiction and all of their team represents various wide range of beliefs and all of that, then do that.
But the shareholders,
as someone who is primarily, whose job is to send emails to people for them to read, that is my job. I have an email job. My job is email. You know, Ken's job was beach. My job is email.
People don't read.
Yeah, people can't read.
Yeah. Actually, we do have a literacy crisis in this country, so
that is true.
Correct.
Yes.
But no, I just feel like a big part of this conversation is it is rooted, and the listeners, you guys know, this is a soapbox of mine. Video game companies as a whole are so terrified of doing anything to upset the executives, to upset the shareholders, and they want to play it safe. I mean, it's true. I don't know if it's true for Halo, but it's true for Assassin's Creed. It's true for Star Wars. It's true for Dragon Age. So many of these franchises who have made iconic games, they don't want to push the envelope. They don't want to kind of reinterpret the Bible or religions or do these creative things that are, you know, really impressive works of art, because they're not willing to take a chance that they might lose money or do something unpopular.
So here's the fun thing about that. Halo is doing wacky things right now that I think you guys would appreciate.
I love that. I'm so glad someone is.
So you are right. There's a lot of people that are scared, even beyond, let's go beyond the biblical part. They're scared to do a lot of things that used to be not common practice, but at least they would try something.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't like the game because it plays terribly, but I got to give a lot of credit to Medal of Honor for doing what it did with its story, because you could not tell a narrative like that these days. Spec Ops The Line really couldn't tell a story like that these days, but those games were able to be made in the time that they were made, and they were massively important for that. Halo weaponizes everything outside of the franchise in the game sense. So one of the most recent things that dropped from Halo was called the Waypoint Chronicles Volume 1. Halo historically has had a lot of anthology novels dropped. We had Halo Evolutions Volume 1 and 2. And then we had Halo Fractures, and then most recently the Waypoint Chronicles. Which your boy did a narration of one of those stories for, but never, it's neither here nor there. The most important part, one of the stories was called Rendezvous with Ramen. And you might be thinking to yourself, and you're right, it is very funny. Rendezvous with Ramen takes place after Halo 3 and 4, and is essentially just telling you what happened after Earth was attacked by the Covenant. Because not all of the Covenant made it off the Earth. Some of them landed, and not all of them were flown out and shipped away. Some of them were kept on the planet. So these refugees and war criminals were kept in Rio de Janeiro. And there's this restaurant that gets opened by a small grunt. We all love the grunts, the little guys, named Grubmaster Plump. Okay. And Grubmaster Plump, I see the smile trying not to grow. It's fantastic. Grubmaster Plump is out here revolutionizing culinary genius, using alien meats and alien recipes to spread the palates of humanity. And it's fantastic because, to me, one of my favorite things about how, even though I think that there are certain cultures that are definitively not going to mix very well, there are very many ways in which any culture can mix very well, and that's in things like entertainment, food, especially food, and oftentimes like maybe even fashion. But food is usually that number one. Everyone can enjoy a good meal. So these aliens that were for 27 years trying to wipe out humanity very quickly make friends with the local populace because they're making delicious dishes from their local cultures back on other planets. And in Rio, by the way, the restaurant is called Rio Keep, which is a hilarious tie-in to Sangheili culture, the elites, but that's neither here nor there. There was a moment, because Rendezvous with Ramen is written by this fictional author and journalist named Arturo Bustamante. Arturo Bustamante was he served on UNSC fleets and mostly was this food journalist. And so the Halo cookbook that's real and exists is written by this fictional guy. And they took this character from the cookbook and put him in this short story, writing a separate story about Rio Keep and how these cultures are combining, because it was supposed to be this journalistic piece on the food, but he turns it into how the cultures are combining. Because Rio, at the time of Halo, is very Catholic. And so at one point, there's this narrative that happens, this piece of the story, where Arturo interviews one of the local fathers and is asking, like, why are you being open to them? Why are you allowing them here? Because they tried to kill us. Like, this wasn't just like some brief battle that took place. For 27 years, their primary goal was to wipe us off the face of the galaxy, render us extinct, because we were, quote, an abomination to the great journey. So this massive religious war that they were going up against us with, why would you accept them here? And there's this entire paragraph of the father answering this question by essentially saying, we have never been once told that we can't treat every single person in this galaxy with anything less than respect. And who's to say that God's salvation is exclusively for humans? And I was like, damn, you threw that in there. That was like, I could hear the man's voice in my head. The dude who did the audiobook for it is a Halo YouTuber named Installation00, who apparently has training in whipping out like a perfect Brazilian accent. So like, dude was just like a British man all of a sudden sounding exactly like this old Catholic father. And it was perfect. Like, you're hearing it, you're putting it together in your head, and it hits so deep, because this is just the latest example of Halo going out of its way to include various, like, probably one of the most important things about this is that, like, Christianity isn't the only thing that's recognized here. There was another story recently called Tulpomancy, where an ancient human ship was found. And by simply being there and interacting with the ship, these scientists were able to bring these ancient humans, quote unquote, back to life by allowing them to become tulpas. And tulpas are basically these souls, spirits of some sort that are manifested by believing in them. So there's this really interesting, constant underlying narrative of some form of religiousness behind everything.
And belief.
And belief and faith. Like, there's this, because of the Sangheili mostly, I think it's probably what makes it the most interesting, is that because the Covenant are a religious conglomerate, they're not this just, here's a bunch of aliens, or like Doom, here's a bunch of demons that all just want to kill you. It's the Covenant. They're called the Covenant. And they're going after something called the Ark. And they're trying to stop the flood. And they're trying to use halos. Like, it is so everywhere, it's unavoidable. And instead of just making it like the Covenant collapsed after Halo 3, now we can just write them off, they keep it as like the Sangheili have to constantly just be like, we believed this for centuries. We believed in this for so long. How are we supposed to accept anything else? And the answer from the Father that is talking to these Sangheili is like, because there is a being that understands you better than you know yourself. And I'm like, it's insanity. I want that to keep going, because instead of losing it, they're keeping that narrative alive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the like keys in here that I wish, like I would hope that these people are listening to, is that one of the things that I think that a moment like that is so real is it's not an omniscient kind of forced thing coming from the game itself. It is a lived individual from their lived experience saying something that they would say in actual real life.
Yes, that is the most important thing. Holy crap, there's so much forced stuff in any aspect of storytelling recently.
Right.
And I have something. Oh, you say your thing and then I can say my thing.
I think it comes from a thing of, I think that executives pressure writers to spell everything out, which is, from a narrative perspective, as a narrative writer, you are taught show, don't tell. And then executives come up and say,
tell you to
tell
me everything.
tell.
I am a writer for work, and I'm not writing fiction. I'm writing like corporate stuff and
junk mail.
That's what I always say. I write junk mail for a living, which is kind of true.
Awesome.
And that it's true in my job too. And it's just like, and a part of it comes back to our literacy crisis. But no, I think you're exactly right, Austin. It is absolutely the writers. The writers are under such strict standards from up above, but also writer budgets have been cut so much that there are far, far fewer writers in the writer's room these days. And I think a lot of writers are using AI, especially. We've talked about this on the podcast. We think AI was used to help write Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Bro.
So yeah, no confirmation, just a hypothesis. But that's there's a lot of reasons for it. I think
it's mainly because in the base game they never mention assassins at all, and then suddenly in all the DLCs the word assassin gets mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh,
weird. It's just weird
with the same writing staff.
So that actually really ties in well to what I was about to say, because it's a little bit of a backtrack, but also not, since you just brought it up again. The literacy crisis, and also like a biblical literacy crisis, because I think maybe part of the reason why so many franchises are like either moving away or spelling stuff out so much is because people aren't as familiar with the Bible as they used to be. Like if you look at books that were written a while ago, there's so many like biblical allusions and allegories that are like baked into the text, like Scarlet Letter or stuff like that you have to read in a high school English class. Like you kind of need to understand what a Puritan is to fully understand and grasp that story. And I've bumped into so many people who just like don't get it because like they've never really interacted with the Bible. And so like one of the examples from like a few years ago, I was watching a show. This was back when Crunchyroll still had comments, like a comment section. And I don't exactly remember what the show's name was, but it had to do with pirates. And there's this scene where this one captain is like, yeah, go ahead and fire on their ship, and says something along the lines of like, you can't put old wine into new wineskins, like making allusion to that verse. And so many people in the comments were like, what does he mean by that?
What
and like
a wineskin.
Yeah, and like analyzing it and being like, oh yeah, I think he means, and then saying stuff that's like completely like
if that's not the internet
broken.
though, if that's like,
That's
I think
so
this
true.
means completely wrong statement.
Yeah, it was like the complete opposite of what that verse is trying to say. And like, he made sense to me because I was familiar with the verse. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's saying that. Cool. And so, like, as people grow less familiar with the Bible and the Bible story, stuff isn't going to hit as hard, unfortunately, because they just don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely think I have a lot of thoughts, but I think also it's more than just the biblical stories that people don't know. It's stories in general, like literature in general. I think the national reading level is it's like the 5th grade reading level is the national average right now, which
Then go meet my kids.
Again, I know from work because I have to write things at a 6th grade reading level all the time. And let me tell you, it's way like getting to a 6th grade reading level is lower than you think it is. So if that's the national average, we're just not reading. And so I think people just don't understand biblical references. They don't understand literature. They don't understand Shakespearean references. And so, when you don't understand the history, the literature of our past, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. And so this also really reminds me, I read this somewhere about Netflix's strategy is to make shows that people can watch while they're also scrolling on their phones. And so it's like these entertainment companies so often are making entertainment that they expect us to only halfway pay attention to. And so it's like, well, if that's the expectation, then yeah, of course you're maybe not going to put in all of these allusions and references like we did in the 90s and early 2000s.
I'm Toph Beifong, and I invented metal bending. To such chatter we cooked.
Yeah, we probably
There's no chat. Sorry. But yeah, I think about that in this sense, but I think like great segue of like Assassin's Creed really kind of edges at this question, which is the central like I like to say that Assassin's Creed is what if we took the central narrative of the Book of Job and decided to make it a game series, which is the idea.
Fire.
Really
if you are unfamiliar, as we just discussed, the Book of Job opens with the Satan, or the adversary in Hebrew, approaching God and saying, hey, there's this guy Job who really likes you and really loves you and really worships you. But if terrible things happen to him, push come to shove, he will curse your name and all of those things. And God's like, no, he won't do that. And that is at the crux of the question that Assassin's Creed is getting at, which is, what is the base operation of humanity? Templars assert that the base operation of humanity is we suck, and we need people who understand that we suck and want to correct the course to be in complete control and lead us into the proper future. And assassins assert that people suck, and people suck because people like the Templars are trying to control everything, so we're going to remove that from the equation.
It's always been fascinating to me, kind of off topic, it's always been fascinating to me that the assassins seem to make a grander impact despite them being severely, significantly, unfathomably outnumbered.
Yeah, and like, the Templars, they have every resource available at their fingertips. They control every power in the society, at least up to the modern day. And so it's like, I think it makes the Assassin's case so much more powerful that they are able to do what they can do with fewer resources, with, no powerful institutional resources. They just have just a small group of people.
And I think this is the core of the issue. And we've made a lot of Star Wars analogies here, but Star Wars is such a pitiful, like essential narrative in our grand collective societal conscience. In Return of the Jedi,
Be careful,
Luke-
it's my favorite movie.
it's also my favorite movie.
Okay.
See, this is great. Luke and Palpatine have a conversation, and Luke makes a jab at Palpatine that is like, your arrogance will be your downfall. And Palpatine's response is, your faith in your friends will be yours. And we know that Palpatine's arrogance is his downfall, because he never imagines for a moment that Vader will break the hold that Palpatine has on him. He doesn't think that it is in the realm of possibility. He thinks he has won and converted Anakin and eradicated what was left of Anakin Skywalker so much that he doesn't even consider it an option. And that is his downfall.
Literally.
That's the Templars. The Templars are so sure in their power. They are so sure in everything that they are trying to be, that they don't see the assassins coming, both metaphorically and literally.
Now, if I can actually both interrupt and also kind of call back to a conversation we had briefly on the library when you were on with us. You brought up that Assassin's Creed needs a modern narrative again.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree 100%. But I want to give you a piece of something to think on to see what your thoughts are on this. Because you're right. That is one of the most interesting things, and always has been, is the Templars' absolute control. And despite that, they can't control the assassins. They can't stop them. The assassins always find a way around. They always are off grid. They know how to get around all of this stuff. And in spite of the odds, are always given the tools necessary to get around the absolute power. So putting that in a modern context would be interesting, because controlling social media, controlling narratives, and putting the idea of anything into the minds of the general populace is a thing that's both likely happening in our actual real life, but also is something that you could easily turn into a narrative within Assassin's Creed in a modern context very easily. Isn't that Watch Dogs? And also the idea of like Legion with Assassin's Creed's crossover being the only well-written part in the entirety of that game.
Yeah, I mean, that is really kind of where we're at. Like, there's so many crossover theories and things between Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, just because there's just a lot of allusions to each other. They're made by the same company. Like, there's just a lot that is in there. But I think that it is really interesting where we get all of this, because I'm going to call back, because as we know, Black Flag has recently been remade. In the database entries of the original games, the Templars are basically at a point of, we don't need the observatory because our surveillance technology on the everyday people is better.
Dang.
Like, so in this way, they've surpassed what the Isu were able to do, because the observatory is limited by having someone's blood. The Templars don't need that with satellite GPS cameras and everything else.
Yeah, just need basic information. You say in the original, did they do something to change it in the remake?
I don't know where those entries are, because I don't care to look for the database.
That's fair. I was very curious, because with the way you said it, I thought you were about to go, and they changed it. They still want the observatory, and that would be
no. I think the thing about it is the historical Templars want the observatory.
Mm-hmm.
The modern day Templars do not, because they don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just
the modern day story that is being told with Black Flag Resync is different than the original one that was played.
So you're not an intern walking around and checking out other people's cubicles and not being weird?
Yeah, you're not an intern that in their first day is granted more security clearance than the CEO. You know, like...
That was the Assassins, dude. Come on.
No, that was the same.
See, that's the fun thing to me, is that like I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, sweet, Black Flag remake just dropped. Let's get the Watch Dogs remake so we can take out the CEO again in that one mission and make that a whole tie-in. Because honestly, by this point, why not make the CTOS a thing in the Assassin's Creed universe? Why not make the Templars a problem with it? Because like when the Templars and the Assassins show up in Watch Dogs Legion, I meant it when I said that was the only well-written part of that game. I played through that game twice. I don't know why I did it the second time, but
it would be different the second time.
I was sitting there waiting for the Stormzy level so long. I was so excited for it, only to find out that it's basically just watch a music video while shooting a drone every now and then. And I was so done with it. But then you have that Assassin's Creed crossover. Granted, I was playing on hardcore difficulty, and I lost her immediately after I beat that storyline. But everything that they were doing, even tying it into CTOS and Bloom and all of this, I was like, are they about to do something big? No.
Forgive my language, but like Ubisoft is really great at narrative blue balling.
Yeah.
That's kind of there. I think that's really kind of where we'll end with that, with Ubisoft narratively blue.
It's a good way to put
narrative
it.
blue balling.
That's a good way to put it, because then that would explain why they haven't gone in a route similar to Halo, where they just at least have sprinklings of real things that people would be actually saying.
Yeah, they had really good, like the comics where they like wrap up the Juno story are really well done, and there's a lot that happens in there. But the last thing that I want to say about kind of like this religious kind of thing is like back to the conversation that the Templars don't see the Assassins coming until Assassins become Templars, which is why Hatham is so effective at eradicating the Assassins. It's why Otto Berg in the modern day is so effective at hunting Assassins, because he thinks like them. Once they understand what it means to be an assassin, and Hatham understands what it means to be an assassin, they can start to think like them, and the assassins start having more trouble than they used to. It's when Hatham gets arrogant and has met his match in Connor that he is ultimately defeated. But Hatham and Shay effectively eradicate the Colonial Brotherhood in the matter of like 5 years. And then Connor comes and single-handedly takes them all down.
Even though I still don't entirely understand Shay's story and how he turned.
Shay's story is crap. Because they had an opportunity to actually talk about the philosophical differences of the Assassins and Templars, but they settled on, the Assassins do bad things too.
I hate that narrative so much.
Yeah,
it's like that's turning the no-brainer into a exaggerated nonsense piece. It's so annoying.
Right. I mean, we're talking about a group of murderers. Like, of course, like I thought it would have been really more interesting to Assassin's Creed Rogue if it would have been just more of like, no, like your answer isn't working. The world still sucks. People still suck. They need control, and that kind of like narrative, but they had to just make it, the Templars actually embody what the Assassins are trying to do versus the Assassins who are just power hungry and want all this. And Shay isn't really loyal to the Templar cause. He's loyal to people who are loyal to him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place to leave it. Before we kind of wrap up, Austin, do you have any specific things you want to shout out about your podcasts, the things you have going on for our listeners?
Oh, gosh. Well,
I genuinely got confused, and I was like, my podcast is your podcast.
It is.
Please call me Murphy. No, you don't have to do that. But no. So I think there's plenty. There's always something going on. I think it's the easiest way to put it. If you ever want to see everything that we're doing, just go to jumperscape.com. That's our company. That's the team that's behind everything that we do. My recommendation would be, if you want to get into Halo and learning about it and its community, you could start at the library, or you could start with Chatternet Daily Halo Radio. That's 14 people coming together and creating a daily show that's been running for about almost 2 years now. And I would also recommend that if you want to support endeavors happening around the community, then there's a good place to start, which is we've actually had this fun little calendar project that we've been doing for 3 years now. It's massive now, but it is a project that is actively going on. You can find more details about that, like I said, in our website. But it's probably the best place to start with finding out how we support our community and how we enable creatives to be creative. I think aside from that, stay tuned because our canon piece that we worked on for Halo that is going to be dropping rather soon should be dropping. I don't know when. I never said.
You
but
maybe check on that.
Well, no, I'm actually being facetious. I know exactly, but
okay.
I don't know. I have no idea. I've got no idea.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, at some point, maybe someday soon, hopefully on a yonder star, it'll pop up and appear on your feeds one day. But hey, keep your eyes open because we get to do stuff like that. So it's really entertaining. But yeah, that's a good place to end off. Jumperscape.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the show. And I'm so glad we got to kind of get together and talk about all this. It's been great. Austin Teacup, thank you so much for putting the notes together and the questions. And thank you for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. If you have any lore questions, theories, or topics you'd like us to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It is the best place on the internet.
You can also support the show financially and ensure its continuation by becoming a patron at patreon.com/ACLorecast. If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, comment or rating, or join our Patreon.
The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Podcasting Network. If you enjoyed our show's intro or outro music, give a big shout out to Pipeman Studios.
And until next time, Assassins, and remember, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop.
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.
Ignite your taste with new NOS Energy Grand Prix Guava. Foot-to-the-floor energy with high-speed tropical flavor that'll shift you and your day into top gear. So keep your foot on the gas and your hand on the NOS Energy Grand Prix Guava and get after it.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.